Okay, so today we're going to talk about big business. We are covering pages 319 through 323 in the book if you want to look in your book for any other explanation. You're going to be putting these notes on page 16 in your notebook. Make sure you're on page 16 in your notebook. This is the vocabulary for this section, and these words need to go in your vocabulary section of your notebook, so make sure you are in the last section of your notebook. It is a running list, so just do them right underneath the vocabulary from the last video. Corporations, stock, economies of scale, pools, monopoly, trust, and holding company. All those words need to be defined. So this is the beginning of the notes. We are on page 16 in our notebook. We need to title it Big Business, and this is the steps to big business in the U.S. By 1900, big business dominated the economy of the U.S. Corporations are organizations that are owned by many people but treated by law as a single person. Stockholders own corporations because they own stock in the business. Large stock issuing allows the corporation to raise money but lower the risk. So they can make big buildings and do different big projects, and they'll spread out how much it costs each person. Before 1830, if you wanted to create a corporation, you would have to have a charter from the state legislature, so from like your state representatives. But after 1830, corporations were allowed to issue stock without a charter because of new laws that were passed. This allowed more corporations to form and big businesses to boom. As we already know, free enterprise is all about competition. To stop prices from falling, many corporations formed pools or agreements to maintain certain price levels. Pools did not last long and broke apart when one member broke the pool to lower prices. By 1870, competition had reduced many industries to few large corporations. The next step is advertising. Advertising was huge. It spurred business and also became a new business. By 1900, retailers were spending $90 million a year on advertising. They used many techniques to advertise, such as large display ads in newspapers and also mail order catalogs. The next thing is new business practices. To help spur business, many corporations found new ways to become more efficient. They wanted to be able to produce more products with using less money. Example is Andrew Carnegie's steel production increased 3 times, and that was with him reducing his workforce by 400 people because of electric machinery doing most of the work for them. There are also new ways of doing business, which we'll talk about next. The first new business practice we're going to talk about is vertical integration. It was used by Andrew Carnegie in the steel industry. He bought all the businesses that he needed for his steel operation. He bought all the different businesses that his steel operation depended on to make his business more successful. So he bought the mines, he bought everything that would create his steel, and that way he made business on each step, and he owned it all. The next one, which is a little bit different, we talked about vertical integration, so you need to think each step going up to the final product. This one is called horizontal integration, and it was used by John D. Rockefeller in the oil industry. Rockefeller began to buy all the other oil companies to take them out of competition and make his more successful. And by the end of all of his buying out, he owned about 90% of the oil industries in the U.S. But his prices remained low because he was still in competition on the world market. So this one is straight across. He's buying all the same type of companies. As in vertical integration, it was different type of companies to make the final product. People were really leery about horizontal integration and the possibility of becoming a monopoly, so they started passing new laws to limit how much Rockefeller could do. So he just bypassed the laws and created different things such as trust and holding companies. In 1882, Standard Oil formed the first trust to try to get around laws and protect to get around laws made to protect consumers from monopolies. Holding companies are a little bit different. They don't actually do anything, they just hold stock in other companies. Here is a picture of Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie, remember, he did the vertical integration and it made him a very wealthy man. All these pictures come from Wikipedia. Your citations are there at the bottom. Andrew Carnegie was extremely wealthy and he thought he should give back, and he did many charities and whatnot. But this building right here is Carnegie Hall. It holds lots of concerts. You may have heard of it. It's in New York. There's two pictures. One's the outside of the building and one is the inside. Here's John D. Rockefeller. John D. Rockefeller was also a very wealthy man. If you've ever heard of Rockefeller Center, that was actually built, or the money was donated by his son, John D. Rockefeller Jr., and it's also in New York. So you just need to check your notes and make sure they look like mine would have looked in class, and we will check them in class tomorrow. Remember, they are a grade. And that's the end. Have a fabulous day.